Hey everyone, just happy to announce that Haven Cottage Event Center is opening in late spring of this year in McKinney. Haven Cottage is an event center for small to medium-sized occasions in a country setting minutes away from the city. Use the facility for a conference, art exhibition, and multi-purpose meetings, or just celebrate your family's joyous events exactly how you want to. Everything you need to know to get in touch with them is all in the description, okay? Email, phone, alright? Check them out, see what's up, maybe reserve something, who knows, whatever it is, check it out. All right, enjoy the episode.
Podcast, one more podcast. One more podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the One More Podcast. Still have no video because I am lazy and, life is difficult. So I'm here with my friend. Well, actually, you know what? I think friend is a little too much. We'll say acquaintance, work buddy, ex-work pal, ex-friend, I guess.
Sure,
okay. So you want to introduce yourself, ex-friend?
No, I don't. Not anymore.
Well, I'll introduce him. His name is Blake, and we are here talking because it is the afternoon, and I made some good breakfast this morning, and, I think that's been something that I really wanted to, moving out, just cook a mean breakfast. Yeah, just make food. Cause
what'd you have?
I made some eggs and sautéed some onions and mushrooms, and then diced up some tomatoes and threw them all in the little scrambled egg mix there, and toasted some bagels. Not really cooking, but toasted bagels has some cream cheese, and then you take you do a scoop of the eggs with all that in, and put it on top of the bagel. Yeah, some good stuff. I'm with you. Then last night, because I was in the mood for a smoothie, or I don't know, at night I just get I urge
weird
for
cravings.
Fruits. It's not weird.
It's
cravings.
a fruit craving.
Yeah, it's because it's not savory or salty or anything. I just want something sweet, but not
you don't want chocolate or anything.
Yeah, so
something refreshing and sweet.
Exactly. Plus, it's not super heavy calorie.
No,
carb,
it's just a lot of sugar.
Well, it's natural sugar, so it's not So the story is I went to Walmart and then got one of those personal blenders or whatever.
Yeah, cool
things, and then got a bag of frozen fruit, and that bag of frozen fruit says no added sugar, so it's just whatever.
Well, there you go.
Whatever the natural
businesses wouldn't lie to you like that.
Well, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
I know.
You're probably right.
Well, I mean, I can sue them if they lie to me on the package.
You could, but who has the time?
I mean, hey man, America is a very sue happy country.
Yes, we are.
Going through my business law class and just listening to my professor talk about all the different cases and all the different civil cases and stuff like that, and the different types of them and the certain extents of where they go and what part of law they deal with and stuff. People are just sue happy, and it makes me kind of sad. But I guess if people are looking for justice, then go for it.
We're easy money. That's
true. I mean, all those people are suing Apple for slowing down their iPhones. Yeah. But you know why they did that, right? Have you investigated
why Apple's doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can make you buy the new model.
No, there's a legitimate reason to it.
Okay.
I mean, I think real quick to preface this, I think they should give you the option of having this slow down and stuff like that. But whenever they release the next iOS update and stuff like that, so going from 9 to 10 to 11, the processes that it uses and kind of the processing requirement as well as the battery power requirement, it's a lot more. And so the older phones with the older processor, it runs the older processors have to run more and use more power to keep up using the iOS, and so it drains your battery faster.
Makes sense.
So that's what they do is they slow down your iPhone. And I think it was a 20% slowdown. I don't remember.
To save your battery?
To save your battery. So it's you don't wake up and then by 12 o'clock in the afternoon, your battery's dead. So now again, how heavy your usage is and how, what you do with it, what you have turned on, blah, 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 all that, can affect the battery itself just generally. So,
right. Your brightness,
Sure, all that stuff. Yeah. So, but people, I was actually literally just now looking at an article about, let's see, where is it? Apple faces 26 plus lawsuits for purposefully or secretly, I'm doing quotes here, slowing down older iPhones. So, and I think before they actually mentioned that they slow down the iPhones, like whenever in some release or something like that. I don't know, in the terms and conditions that like nobody reads ever, I think they say that they do slow down, and they probably mentioned it, I think, before, that older models get slowed down just to save that power. So, but I mean, people buy something and expect it to work, and they don't want it to be slower, so that's why they're suing it. Which I don't know.
I like my idea better because
what's your idea? Like for suing or for phones?
No, for phones.
Oh,
like
okay.
I like my conspiracy
What's
better.
your conspiracy?
Well, I told you guys who were we talking with, the two Evans. We were talking with Evans, and I was like, there's a conspiracy where they try to like slow down your iPhone to make you get the newer model, and all of you were like, no, it's not a conspiracy. That's what they do.
Yeah. But
now you're saying that there's a reason for it.
Well, sure, yeah, and that's the thing, because that's why I'm kind of conflicted, is because like I get it in terms of technology and stuff like that. You're just, you have an expectation, and here's the expectation and how you need to perform, and the minimum requirements of whatever you have to perform at a certain level. And then if you're not at that level, if you're just even just a little below, you're going to run into issues, and you're going to run to, either the drained battery life or whatever other potential mishaps or bugs that can happen because of it. So that's why I'm conflicted, because it's like, okay, it's Apple, just, we know because we built the phone, we've designed the phone, this is a flaw in our phone. But, doing that, forcing that upon people, I've never been an advocate on just saying, hey, this is reality, accept it. I mean, I think this would be a huge, even bigger stink if the government was doing this. Ugh. Like, not in this example, but if it's like, hey, we're Mr. Government, and we are doing something for the better of you.
Let's do registration, car registration. So
okay,
the government, so we have to pay the state of Texas state of Texas to register our vehicles. Let's say the state of Texas said, for you guys, we're going to up the charge. That way we can have better service for you in the DMV. Right.
And they just do that without even telling us. They're going to have a huge, way bigger stink. Because I guess there's just this mindset of just F the government. I don't know. It's like...
Yeah, where'd that come from?
I mean, I don't know, man. I've always...
Since 1776, it's been F the government. Or it should be.
Yeah, I guess. I've always been very passive when it comes to, Big Brother in my food, and my putting their fingers in my...
Because you got nothing to hide, so you don't care.
No, it's not the nothing to hide. It's just... It's like... And I forget if we've talked... We're going to talk about it again if we've talked about it already, but... It's just like... Here is your bowl of soup. Blake, I'm giving you a bowl of soup. What flavor soup is it, Blake?
Chicken noodle.
All right, so you have your chicken noodle soup, okay? And then all the way, hundreds of thousands of miles across from you, this child has broccoli cheese soup, okay? Oh, by the way, the Irish potato soup is back at Jason's Deli.
Yes, it is, and it's delicious.
Oh, it's so
good.
It's really good. Definitely not sponsored by Jason's Deli at all. Anyways,
I'll work on that.
Thank you. That would be really awesome. I'd love to be sponsored by Jason's Deli, dude. Okay, so we have
sandwich trays every pot.
Oh my god, no, sandwich trays, and then I was thinking just like sandwich reviews. So we have like movie reviews, music reviews. All right, guys, welcome. We're gonna be
eating this Reuben.
We're gonna try the Reuben, and we'll
get back to you in a few.
What's the texture and the consistency? Does it match the quality of what they're saying?
I gotta say, this Russian dressing just isn't doing it for me, man. I totally, McAllister's has a little bit better, maybe Slotsky's, but
any substitute for the dressing?
Maybe some Chipotle aioli. I feel like that'd be a nice fit. Maybe some stone mustard.
Yeah, that's good. What if your sandwich was not toasted or not?
No, it needs to be toasted, because it's a big sandwich as it is. The corned beef gets a little juicy, and you need a good plate.
That fine layer.
That fine
to prevent from salt.
Right. Yeah. And I'm not a big fan of kraut, so I'm gonna go easy on the kraut.
Sure. I've never eaten sauerkraut. I've eaten it before, but I've never.
Like it.
I'm not like, yes, sir. Can I just have a side of sauerkraut, please? Bring that over here. You know what? We need
just
more.
Just give me the bucket.
I've never said that I needed more sauerkraut.
No one has.
Well, I mean, they're
actually,
for a reason.
There are people, I'm sure, like, yeah, can I just get the sauerkraut?
You see, that's why I don't like the beefeater or the sauerkraut. Or the sauerkraut, the Reuben. The Reuben or the beefeater.
I think the Reuben without the sauerkraut
it's good.
is delicious.
What is corned beef? I don't know what corned beef is.
It tastes great. I like it.
Is it cooked a different way?
It's just kind of corny.
Oh, yeah?
It just has this corn taste to it.
So,
it's really good.
Okay. I've
Do you want to go to Jason's?
I've already eaten.
Okay.
I mean, I just explained to you my dank breakfast.
Right. But
dude, I want another smoothie. I'll make you a smoothie after this. It'll be good. You'll
clean me out.
Honestly,
hopefully,
like,
because
after I ate my breakfast and stuff like that, I was like, okay, I feel good. This is good. And then the whole daily process routine. Yeah. You know, I think if I do that. Oh, that's another advice that I was telling you about, the things that I'm giving up. But on top of that, I want to give up coffee because I feel like at this point in my life, I think I only use coffee to either A, if I'm like literally about to go to sleep at my desk at work, I will drink coffee to like wake myself up, or B, in the morning if I'm feeling good, like if because I'll bring breakfast and I'll eat at my desk or whatever, and just because it's a really chill workplace like that, so I'll just be eating at my desk, and if I feel good and I feel like I have a little more room, I'll drink a coffee to like kind of flush my systems and stuff like that. Right. So, and I don't know if that's good to.
Well, then I'll have your coffee maker.
Do what?
If you don't want your coffee maker anymore, I'll buy it.
I mean, it was a gift, and I want to call. Okay. Part of me kind of just likes stuff in the kitchen. So like having the coffee maker, having the sandwich maker, having the thing or whatever, all these little gadgets and
sure. All right.
I just like the little easy.
Well, if you're looking to sell it, hook me up.
Oh, for sure.
I'm ready to go.
I'll hit you up. I mean, also, okay, part of me also, and I hated this as a kid, but like I love it now, is just the smell of coffee in the morning.
Isn't it great?
It's just like
so soothing.
It's just I wake up and I'm just like, if I can figure out a way to automatically like have the coffee brewed, like do some kind of pulley rig system, and so like at 7 o'clock in the morning,
you can have a timer on it, right?
Can you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like so we have a coffee maker that we put it in the night before, put the coffee in the night before.
Really?
And then at 5 o'clock it starts brewing. And it goes beep, beep, beep whenever it's done.
That is
like a little
okay.
alarm.
I don't know if my coffee maker is that fancy, but we can look. Wow, that'd be
isn't that cool?
What about bacon and stuff like that, or like sausage? Can you do that? Can you do like a Michael Scott thing where you?
I don't think so. I don't think you want to. I don't think you want to leave bacon out that long.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, just get a robot. Honestly, I want robots. I know we've totally derailed off of this, but I want like a robot assistant person.
No, it's Terminator.
Why?
It's Terminator.
Well, I mean, seriously, Blake, really?
No, seriously, like that terrifies me.
But what if it had like a extension cord plug that needs to be plugged in to be powered on? Then you just unplug it.
That's a long ass cord if it's gonna help you out.
Well, I mean,
that'll make us so lazy. Like I believe that it's the little things that people should do that keeps us in check. You know,
like what do you mean? Like just take out the garbage or something?
Basic stuff, yes. Basic, low-level stuff, monotonous stuff that keeps us grounded. Okay. So taking out the garbage, washing dishes, doing laundry, making your own food, doing your own coffee, making your own coffee in the morning, like cleaning up after yourself. That keeps you as a human being grounded with responsibilities.
So then what happens if you don't do that?
You ever seen WALL-E?
You really think WALL-E's a potential?
Not at such a grand scale, but you're already seeing that with like chubby little fourth graders nowadays, where instead of riding their bikes and running everywhere like we did, they're riding those damn whatchamacallits, the skateboards with wheels, or the
such an old man.
No, the hoverboards.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Where like it's garbage. Like, I think that's so dumb. And video games are doing the same thing. Now, that episode of South Park when Cartman has the virtual reality headset and he just stays in his room and he gets fat and he's got food all over his stomach and his mom takes his shit from his bucket and walks out. That's real life. That's happening now with chubby little fourth graders.
Wait, is that a new episode or are you talking about the World of Warcraft episode?
No, not the World of Warcraft episode. Or it was it's the
where he's like
Grounded Vindaloop episode. Where they go into virtual reality.
Was this season?
No, it was like season 16 or 15.
Okay.
Have you not seen it? That's one of my favorite episodes.
I've seen all of the South Park, so
You've seen it's the one where they call customer service in India, and because they're trying to get the headset because Cartman is lost in virtual reality.
I honestly don't remember that episode.
Okay, but we'll watch it after this because it's hilarious.
No, because I remember I binged that show just like so hard.
Yeah.
I think this was back like, I think maybe high school days, like maybe freshman, sophomore, and then I got caught up, and then I mean, what, they've had like a few seasons.
Or they're on season 22, right?
Yeah, something like that. So I'll have to rewatch it. There's just so many. Honestly, there are just so many shows that I've just like are in the backlog,
back catalog,
and stuff like that. I'm just like, yeah, I've seen it. I know what you're talking about. I'm familiar with all the characters and the stories, but the specific plot, I'm just like, okay, yeah. So, but I mean, do you really think? Do you think we can? Wait, so we'd just be fat and we'd have like a little floaty thing?
Dude, I'm doing it right now. I'm fat now, and
you're
trying
not
to
like that, like in Wall-E fat.
Dude,
you're not.
I'm not.
Walk around.
I'm
do
not.
You need assistance walking?
Absolutely not.
Whenever you walk up the staircase, do you need to like take a 5-minute breath?
No.
Okay, well
but
then you're fine.
my point is that you're seeing that now, like with just kids today and with adults. Americans are getting fatter. And it's been going on for years. And also, like, it's just, I really think that is a possibility.
So, I mean, then what do we do to fix it?
Well, that's the thing about personal responsibility and freedom.
Yeah.
You know, you have the opportunity to be the best that you can be, or you have the opportunity to be the worst, shit kicker and fat and lazy that you want to be. So the only thing is, don't expect me to look after you and try to help you. That's your own personal choice, kind of thing.
Excuse me. So are you gonna make your kids like run around, spend like 5 to 10 minutes a day?
I'm gonna say go outside, come back when the lamps come on, when the street lights come on.
Really?
I'll see you in a few.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Because that's what my dad did.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I remember growing up as a kid, I'd play outside and stuff like that too. But golly, I've had this cough, and ever since this morning, I woke up and I've just had this cough.
Are you sick?
No, I'm not sick at all. Okay, real quick, we'll pin on the raising kids and stuff like that. So, recently, I just feel like a lot of people have been getting sick. I guess it's flu. I don't know when flu season is because it feels like, but like it always feels like flu seasons are like in the beginning of the year and then the mid of the year and then. Well,
they're like right when school starts because all the kids are congregating together.
So there's not one flu season. It's just
sure there's a few.
Sure, okay. All right, but anyway, so a lot of people have been getting sick, and everyone's like, blah, 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 whatever,
I got
whatever.
Sick. I'm about to finish my antibiotics today, actually.
Oh, really? You're taking all you?
Yeah, all of them.
Like
I'm finished.
Good.
I'm about to finish them.
Good. Because there was a Bill Nye episode about how,
like the old school Bill Nye episodes?
The Bill Nye Saves the World, the new one. They came out the second season. Do you like it? I enjoy it. It's interesting. It's not like classic Bill, but like it's still just like, oh, okay, cool, because. They talked about like computer safety and stuff like that, where malware and protection and stuff like that. And then they talked about the potential for like time space, like time travel and stuff like that, which was kind of interesting. So interesting topics. Delivery platform show could be better, but anyways.
Well, the gender spectrum episode is what threw me off. So
I was out. That's just Bill being political and modern and topical and trying to
for kids, for kids.
Well, I don't know, man. It's like for us, I feel like continuing on in our life, I think we're already like we're aware of what's going on with the gender thing, and we know what's going on, and we have our opinions and we have our choices, and we're deciding and blah blah blah. But I mean, like kids growing up in like middle school and stuff like that, elementary school, middle school, they don't know what's going on. All they're hearing is from their parents. So if Bill Nye can provide a platform where this kid watch it and then has a better understanding of, hey, okay, so this is what people are thinking, or this is how it could be, or how it should be, or whatever it is. Yeah,
but and I guess because I don't agree with him at all in that whole episode. That's where I'm like, I wouldn't want my kids watching that when they're in the 5th or 6th grade.
Really?
Because when they're in the most fragile state as a kid, when they're about to go through puberty, and life is already complex and it's getting more crazy with hormones and all that stuff. Well, wouldn't you? If he has questions or he or she has questions, come on with it. Like I'm an open guy to talking about that stuff.
And that's good. But you wouldn't want to like sit down with your kid and watch that. Not specifically like.
No, because I don't think it's true.
Well, okay.
Are you talking about just opening the kid's eyes to whatever the information is out there? Whenever you have kids, what do you think about this?
Yeah, there's a new show on Netflix, not Bill Nye, but like George Blagoggle or something, and he has his own show, and he's talking about random crap, and it's either leaning left, leaning right, whatever it is. Is that something that you're going to do? Is you're going to sit down with your kid? Or not necessarily you have to do that, but something that you're open to?
No, because I think my dad did a good job at because there's some stuff I agree with my dad and some stuff I don't. And that was because he didn't try to force anything down. Like whenever we would have a debate or whatever, like just recently we had a debate on gays in the military,
right?
And I'm pro gays in the military, and he wasn't. And so we had a debate on that, and I ended up kind of changing his mind a little bit.
Okay.
But and it's because when I was a kid, he didn't try to cram all of that stuff down, all that old-fashioned stuff down my throat.
Sure.
I became, I found out what I believe and what I don't believe, and I'm pretty dead set on on either one right now.
Well, so are you gonna? So I'm assuming you had a lot of information that you gathered yourself, either through social groups, internet, whatever, blah blah blah. It wasn't like a, hey, Dad, teach me about everything.
I mean, when you're little.
Oh well, sure, okay.
But like, but now as a 21-year-old man, no.
Oh well, no. I mean,
but even in high school,
middle school, high school, that kind of like.
No,
weird,
I would ask him for a basis. I would ask him or my mom for a basic, like, what is this? What do you think about this? Okay, and then if there was something off or I didn't understand it, I would dive deeper into it, and I would, just kind of try to figure out and wiggle my way through all of it to try to find some light at the end of the tunnel where this is, I get it now, kind of thing. Okay, because I think that's an issue that a lot of kids have nowadays, is that you have the parents that are letting them unregulated watch whatever they want. You have the parents who are just, the kids are out doing whatever with their friends in this whole social group, and they're not talking to their kids, and they're not saying, hey, this is a thing and this is a thing and blah blah blah, whatever. I don't think I'm seeing that as much. I mean, obviously I'm not like within family life, so that could be totally different, but my interpretation of that, because growing up for me, I had this open dialogue with my mom and my dad. It was just like, okay, what does this mean? Oh, this is blah 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 blah. But I don't know. I feel like kind of with the whole PC culture and the we need to protect and shelter our kids and helicopter parents. Put them in zero gravity. Like that's I like that metaphor the best.
What do you mean?
The Adam Carolla zero gravity. So Adam Carolla was testifying in Congress, and I said this on the last podcast, and he said it's proven that when you leave astronauts in zero gravity, they lose bone density and they lose muscle mass, and everything kind of shrinks. That's what we're doing to our kids.
So I don't know. So I don't think I would necessarily like. So you wouldn't want your kid watching something like. Would you tell them no, or would you ban them, or would you just say, hey, this is how life is, blah 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 blah. Take everything with a grain of salt.
It depends on how old they are, I think. So if they're
like we're talking prime middle school, you're discovering your body, you're discovering social groups, and you're understanding how people work, and you're past that age where you not necessarily you've lost your innocence, so to speak, but like you're
gaining depth into
right, and you're understanding kind of a little bit of the complexities of what it is to be a human and friendships and romance and stuff like that. So you're right on that
trying to discover who you are.
Sure, you're just in the discovery phase of what it is. So what makes you tick and everything like that.
Right.
So would you shelter your kid to anything, or would you say, dude, just go if you have any questions, come back to me?
If I don't know, like, so I wasn't allowed to watch Family Guy when I was a kid.
Really?
When I was in middle school.
That's really interesting.
But I watched it anyway.
Sure.
And so my parents cannot watch their kids 100% of the time and make sure they do everything right.
Right.
So I would tell my kid, hey, you can watch that, but don't believe everything that you hear, kind of thing. Look into it. Be an explorer of knowledge. Don't just regurgitate stuff that you've heard. Try to develop your own opinions and feelings. But if you have any questions, you got me. I'm here.
I always find that curious whenever parents like say you cannot watch this show or something like that. Like specifically for me, it was just I couldn't watch our movies till I was 17. It didn't really affect me that much because it was just kind of like
you missed out on a lot of great movies. I will say that.
That's fine. I probably did, and they're still there. It's not like I've missed the opportunity to, but it didn't affect me as a point where, because there were still a lot of good PG-13 movies that were out,
especially when we were growing up. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I don't think that severely hampered anything, but like and I'm not gonna say anything to how it impacted his growth, but like my cousin, he couldn't watch SpongeBob growing up. Like his mom was super adamant about, no, SpongeBob is just dumb cartoon humor. It's blah blah blah. It's stupid. It's stupid.
It's great.
Well, and so I'm very curious on like, Family Guy, I kind of get a little because it's it's mature. It's it's
Would you
Adult
let
Swim.
Would you let a sixth grader, your sixth grade girl or boy, watch South Park?
Probably not. Just but the thing is, I'd want to make sure that they understand why.
Right.
Why they wouldn't. I wouldn't just say you cannot watch South Park, because then like what does that do? That makes
I knew why I couldn't
okay.
watch Family Guy because
Sure.
I've seen episodes.
Right,
Like
'cause
I got caught watching it, and Brian was yelling at Peter. It was when Peter finds out he's mentally retarded, and
oh yeah,
my parents walk in right when Brian starts screaming at him. Man, Peter, I hate to say it, told you so, but yeah, in your fucking face, fuck why?
yeah.
And that's when my mom walked in. I was like, God damn it.
Aww.
It's over. I knew exactly why they wouldn't let me watch it,
Mm-hmm.
but I liked it, so I kept finding ways to watch it.
No,
so
I understand.
Kids are gonna watch it. Just the same argument, like kids are gonna drink and smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's out there, it's available.
Yeah.
It's how you raise them. It's whether or not they want to, whether or not they know the risks of doing that, the influence that it can have, and all that stuff.
And that's what I've always kind of been curious about in terms of that parenting style is, the kids are aware that it's out there, but like how the parents respond. Are you going to be a parent that says, okay, if your kid comes home plastered and is just totally shit faced, and if they're 16, 17, they're totally plastered, comes home, are you going to yell at them on the spot and say, what the F are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Or are you going to say, look, hey man, sleep it off. You'll punish later. Or like, where's that balance? Because then, you don't want the kid to get too comfortable with what they're doing, because then it's like, oh, I came home drunk and nothing bad happened. I just lost my phone for, a month or something like that. That's fine. I'm willing to do that again. Where's that balance? I don't know. And that's what personally terrifies me.
Well, I don't know. Did you ever come home? Because I never did. I was too scared in high school.
Same here.
I was way too scared to go out and get plastered or high in high school.
And that's the thing. Even 95% of my high school life, I was sober, whatever it is. It was not like I was like, ooh, yeah, let's go to a wild party and just drink beers. Like, that just wasn't me.
That scared me too much.
And even then, it was just kind of like, I've always been paranoid about drunk driving and stuff like that, and, not being in full control while you're driving. And that, I don't know, I guess that's just because I'm a fraidy personality. But, well, what happens if I meet someone and then this lady is like super adventurous, and I'm attracted to that, but then that's like the traits are transferred into the kid, and so the kid's now like, oh, I'm cool, I can handle myself, blah 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 blah, and how you handle that. That's just what's legitimately is like, how do you deal with that? Because I know, like, to this day I know kids who like smoke marijuana with their parents, and it's just like they drink with their parents a lot, like they'll do shots together, and they'll smoke and whatever, and they just have this very casual friendship with them. And I get it. I mean, I kind of understand that mentality where it's like, look, you want the parent to be a friend so that the kid will always come to them if there's an issue, and they'll always be open, and there's no more secrets, or not as much secrets, and so you can be the cool guy. But my parents were very much an authoritative figure.
Agree. Both
I would never do a shot with my mom or dad. I would never
maybe now, but
oh no, not even now.
Even now.
I wouldn't want to drink with my dad.
I can kick
liquor
back with my mom and my dad now.
Like, I mean, I've had a beer with my dad and I've had a beer with my mom or whatever, and that's fine. But like, just hey, let's get fucked up together. That's
more me and my mom.
I can't. That's too. I don't know if it's just like to picture them like super drunk. That just like baffles me, and like what parents can get, they're not immune to the
they're not alcohol? Superheroes.
That and luckily for me, I think I've never experienced a point where I'm like, oh, my dad isn't a superhero, oh, my mom isn't, like it's not like and it's kind of funny now that we're talking about this. On the ranch,
is this season 2 out right now?
Season 4, dude.
Oh my god,
I'm way behind. Okay, so now I can't even talk about it because I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, you can. I'm not gonna watch it.
Are you really? Did you not like that show?
I haven't watched it enough to get into it.
So
if I can
season 2.
No.
Oh, so you just
like I'm on like episode 5 of season 1.
Really? Oh my god.
Just go ahead.
Okay. All right. So
I don't mind spoilers.
All right. Spoilers, everyone. I know this came out. Probably skip a couple minutes ahead because I don't like. I hate the fact that people spoil things for me.
Oh, okay.
Like we're gonna sidetrack for a second. So long time ago, really funny story. Not funny, but kind of stupid. Anyways, I was at lunch in high school with my friend, and I believe it was Gears of War 3 just came out. And so I was playing it, super invested. You know, you spend $60 on the game. You're like, okay, here we go. We're going to play it. It's going to be fun. It's a heavily, like literally the campaign is just a story campaign where you're doing this thing. Sure, the combat's cool. The game mechanics are cool, but it's very much you're invested going from 1, 2, 3. Here's the pinnacle of what's happening.
Right.
I'm super invested. One of my friends, and I was just eating lunch, minding my own business, not being a butt. Like, I wasn't inciting this. I wasn't, like, provoking someone to spoil something for me. So my friend spoils the ending. And thank goodness I, like, didn't hear him 100% correctly because, and spoiler alert, people, if you haven't played Gears of War 3, he said Marcus and Dom, or I think he said Dom and Marcus's dad die. And so I knew he didn't play Gears of War. So I knew he literally just looked it up. Oh, okay, here's the thing. Spoiled. Okay. So when I got home, I was like thinking about it. Okay, Dom and Marcus's dad died. So maybe I almost convinced myself that like he thought that they were brothers, and so Marcus's dad is gonna die.
Okay.
But what he meant to say was Dom dies, Marcus's dad dies also. so thank God, whenever he died, I was like, this is a very huge moment in the game. I was like really sad about it. But after he told me that, I straight up started attacking him, like physically attacking him. I was like punching him, and so we got into the hallway, and like the principal had to stop us. He's like, "Hey, stop it! What are you doing, kids?
He ruined Gears of War 3."
And I mean, it's like, I get it. If you buy like a $10 book and someone ruins it, sure, that bums you out.
$10.
Yeah, whatever. Or a movie or whatever. Okay, now you're just gonna have to spend $10.
But $60 and you play that game for hours.
Exactly. So I forget the tangent of what I was doing.
The ranch.
Oh, spoiling the ranch. So I hate it. I hate when people spoil it. I try my very best not to spoil anything for anyone. Conversation wise, obviously, if it's a movie review, we're gonna spoil it. But anyways, so the ranch. God, total tangent off of tangent off of tangent. Anyways, so on the fourth season, Bo, whatever, Ashton Kutcher and
his brother.
What is Danny?
His brother.
Balter or something? I don't know. Yeah, sure. Okay, his brother. Their dad has a heart attack, and
Sam Elliott.
Is that the actor's name?
Yeah, with the really low voice and big mustache.
Yeah. Who's he from? Is he from anything?
You ever seen The Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
He's the cowboy at the beginning, the narrator, and at the end when the dude walks up to the bar and he's talking to him, and the dude says, "The dude abides," and he walks away. And
that was him.
Yeah, the cowboy.
Oh, I don't remember. I have to watch it.
I seen Parks and Rec.
Like the first 3 episodes.
Oh yeah, you didn't like it. That's right. Okay.
Well, I never said I didn't like it. It's just kind of like
we talked about it with Zach. It's not The Office.
It's not The Office. You're right. It's not. But anyways, so he has a heart attack, and there's this whole thing about like, is he gonna die? Is he not? Because he
didn't he have one in season 1 too, or he went to the doctor and the doctor changed.
Well, yeah, the doctor. He's like, hey, look, you're gonna have to stop eating steak and drinking whiskey, or you're gonna have a heart attack.
Okay.
Fast forward to season 4,
and he has a heart attack.
So So that whole like few episodes there was like, Ashton Kutcher's character and his brother realizing that their dad isn't invincible, that their dad isn't this like crazy awesome guy who's gonna live forever. And so bringing it back, let's go out another layer back to where we were talking about. I don't think I've ever had that yet. At this point in my life, I think I'm kind of like, okay, I understand that they're mortal, obviously, but and when you're
it doesn't
a kid,
hit you, until you kind of like this why that Watsky song actually kind of hits home.
Which one?
Like the
healer. The healer.
Like whenever I was a kid and I would throw the baseball with my dad, like almost every day after school or every weekend or whatever. Now you can't really do it. It's only for about 30 minutes, and his knees start to give, and his shoulders going out, and his back, and it's hard. It's hard to watch. And so we just have to go home, put some ice on his knees, and sit down and watch the game. It's a slow kind of aching process watching your parents slowly just get older and older. And
the thing is, though, for me, I think I feel like probably 20 and older. I think you kind of have that mentality of like, you get that, you comprehend that. But if you're in elementary school or middle school or something like that, and then all of a sudden,
your dad's your superhero.
Exactly.
Your dad is Batman.
Yeah, exactly. And so having that mentality, I don't know. I forget where we were kind of coming from the beginning before we even talked about the mentality. But
Terminator, small things, parenting, kids watching TV shows that the parents don't want them to watch.
Oh, sure. Okay.
That's what we were
you
talking
have
about.
way better than memory than I do, Blake. But I don't know. Kids are just kind of weird.
Well, yeah. Like, it's weird to think about, and I like thinking about it, like what kind of parent I'm going to be if I do have kids, if I'm lucky enough to have kids.
Yeah.
What kind of parent I'm going to be. Like, so you want to take all the good stuff that your parents taught you, and you want to kind of get rid of the bad.
Sure.
But it kind of flip-flops each generation. So, like, my dad's dad was an alcoholic psychologist that didn't give him the time of day. Parents got divorced when he was like 6 years old. And so my dad is very conservative when it comes to his alcohol intake, and tried to give a little bit more time to at least my younger brother, because he kind of saw what happened with me, and so he's trying to give a lot more time to his younger brother. So what am I gonna do when I have a son or whatever? If I'm lucky enough to have a son, like, what kind of dad am I gonna be? That dick at the high school baseball games that's all about their son being number one or whatever. Or am I gonna be? I can't stand that parent. Cannot stand that dad. Or am I gonna be the dad that I don't know? And I guess you kind of find it. You don't know until you know, until you actually have a kid. But I'm excited. If I had the money, come on with it.
All right. I'm definitely gonna put my kid through sports.
Yes,
and I want,
course.
if I have the ability to, and I'm not like some fat piece of lard by the time I have a kid. I definitely want to be like the assistant coach or something like that. I feel like that'd be really fun. Just like, because I just have really good memories about just my dad would help. He'd be the assistant or whatever, and he'd like,
My dad was head coach for one baseball season.
Oh, really?
And no one likes to coach his son, but it just so happened, like, because usually the coach's son is either the best player on the team or the worst player on the team.
Yeah. And
no one likes him anyway.
Yeah.
I just so happened that year to be the best player on the team, and it just so happened that way. Sure. And it wasn't fun because because I got, whenever dad would have to put me in to pitch because none of the Blake has to come and save the day kind of thing. Yeah. But I remember one practice he was hitting ground balls to us and I was catching in for him. He would hit the ground balls and he'd throw it back to me. And one of the 10 kids in a row missed a ground ball. And I heard, and this was like 5th grade, and I heard my dad go, "God, we fucking suck." And I was like, "Oh, what do I say?"
That's hilarious. I
just kind of said under his breath.
It's just, yeah, kids will suck. I mean,
it's funnier now because we were 5th graders in Little League, like not even like a select team, like Little League. We were just a bunch of bad news bears, shit kickers, and he's getting so upset because these kids fucking suck.
It kind of reminds me of the South Park episode of when they would play baseball.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. We were gonna talk about terrorism and stuff like that, but okay.
You want to talk about terrorism?
No, I guess I just reading the article and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like a terrorist attack. I guess I don't know. So is terrorism a problem, Blake? Boom.
Yes.
Is it like
yes?
Is it a problem? Let me rephrase it. Is it a problem in America?
Yes. It will be. And
will be or is?
It is, and it will be. So what kind of terrorism?
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't think we'd ever have like a neurotoxin terrorist attack.
Well, no. So we had the thing in Las Vegas. Sure. That wasn't Islamic terrorism. That was terrorism because a guy was.
Yeah, no. Okay. Let me rephrase it then. Sorry, I'm such an ignorant white person. A Islamic kind of ISIS, Al Qaeda. Obviously, that's not a huge one, but ISIS really primarily. Do you think that would be an issue in America? Yeah. You think so?
As long as America is still hated, yeah.
Well, but I mean, I feel like in comparison to everywhere else around the world.
Well, right, because we're not letting in, and this is where some people will disagree with me, but I think facts will back me up. When you let in a large number of populations, like there are cases across Western Europe of people being sympathetic, like large numbers of groups in Europe being sympathetic to ISIS, and the immigration laws are so loose over there that's people can come in and out, like just that's just how it is. I think because we have stricter immigration laws, you can call it racist, even though Islam is not a race. You can call it, Islamophobia. You can call it whatever you want, but we are safer for it. That is the reality of the world we live in currently, right now. I'm not saying that it can't change, but right now, currently, you're not seeing, except for the Charleston thing, you're not seeing Christian terrorist attacks. It's just reality.
Right.
Now, if you go back to, find all your cases in history, yeah, I'm with you. Every religion has had radicals in it, but you're not seeing the Westboro Baptist Church blow up people. That's my point.
No, I understand.
And so then, currently, right now, yes, Islamic terror is a problem.
Which do you think is worse, though, Islamic terrorism or domestic terrorism?
Well, what has had the highest body count in the last since the Gulf War?
I don't know.
Islamic terror.
Oh, it has?
Yes.
Okay.
By a huge margin.
Really?
Yeah.
Like.
So name the. Here's how you know. So name the big cases of domestic terror in the United States since 2000.
Las Vegas, Sandy Hook. Unless was that claimed as Islamic terrorism?
Nope. That
was a mental thing.
Right. So we had the Aurora, Colorado shooting.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City bombing. That was before 2000. So we'll put that aside.
Okay.
I
honestly, I'm a bad American. I just know the off the top of my head, Sandy Hook.
We have the
Las
Texas
Vegas.
shooting.
Oh, the UT.
church shooting.
No, wasn't that where at UT he got up to the very top of the tower or whatever?
That was in the 70s.
Oh, that was the 70s? Oh, okay. All right. So.
But no, we had the church shooting in Texas.
Yeah, okay.
South Texas.
Yeah, okay. Yep, I remember that one.
Didn't we have another?
Wasn't there something in San Jacinto? No, San Jacinto is not a place. Is that
San Bernardino was a terrorist attack.
Thank you. Oh, that was a terrorist attack? Okay, all right.
Barack Obama didn't call it that, but it is.
He just didn't acknowledge it was Islamic terrorism. Or
no,
it's
even now on the FBI books. It is not. It is a mass shooting. It is not a terrorist attack.
Okay,
but it was carried out by Islamic extremists.
Well, so then would the Sandy Hook in Nevada, is that a mass shooting?
That's a mass shooting.
Oh, okay, all right. So I guess technically we can't really call it domestic terrorism.
No,
what is domestic terrorism?
Well, what is terrorism in itself? So terrorism is a violent. It's a violent act. No, it's a violent act to either incite fear or change political or whatever social change, and it's based on extreme ideas.
Okay,
that's at least what society calls extreme ideas today.
Sure. Okay.
We also had Columbine. Then we have the Virginia Tech shooting.
Okay.
So we've got 6.
Sure.
All right, let's do this.
All right.
So we got Miami Club massacre.
Yes, that was
San Bernardino. 9/11.
Okay.
New York terrorist attack with the bus or the Home Depot truck, the U-Haul truck.
Yeah, he ran over to people.
Fort Hood.
The Boston
Marathon. The incident in Ohio State where somebody Islamic was a sympathizer, Islamic sympathizer, was trying to stab people.
Okay.
Case in Oregon at the school.
What was the one? I can't remember. There was like some guy. It might have been the one that you named, but the kid went on a stabbing spree or something like that.
That was in Ohio State.
Oh, that was Ohio. Oh, okay, all right. Because I remember. Sorry to interrupt, but I just remember specifically. One of the professor who like opened the door and let all the kids run was Jewish or something like that. So, and then the guy stabbed him. So, that's the only thing that honestly I remember it from it. So.
The FBI actually just stopped a suspected terrorist attack that was going to happen on Christmas Day in San Diego.
Wow. Okay.
That dude was radicalized. He was a white dude, ex-Marine, radicalized online, and FBI was tracking him and stopped him and arrested him.
What happened to Marines wanting to kill all the bad guys?
I don't know. This dude was a crazy asshole.
He just broke?
He was a crazy asshole. He was an ex-Marine that got radicalized. How does anybody get radicalized?
Well, no, but I feel like you kind of have to be a certain type. And we've had this conversation before. You have to be a certain type of person to be a Marine. You have to have that mentality and that drive to.
I think he actually didn't even finish basic though.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what I was reading because we were reading it right after Christmas. Me and my boss were.
Okay. So I mean that makes sense. But I mean it's like if you. A Marine that has seen action, who has fought amongst soldiers, and I guess this is just my preconceived notions, but I just don't think that someone like that of that caliber could be radicalized.
That's how Chris Kyle got killed.
Remember who Chris Kyle is?
The Navy SEAL sniper that has the most
with the
kills.
book?
Yeah, American Sniper.
Yeah, okay.
He was killed by a Marine veteran that he was trying to help with his PTSD, and he got shot in the back when he took him to the gun range. So Chris would take former vets to the gun range and try to help them out.
Proven that this vet did it out of Islamic.
It wasn't Islamic, no,
it was
but he was.
Oh, okay.
He was not sane.
Well, but I mean, then that's fine. Then
okay.
I understand Marines cracking, PTSD, all that kind of stuff. I get that. But I mean, to break and then say we're gonna side with the quote unquote bad guys.
The only other instance I can think of is Fort Hood.
Okay.
When that happened.
All right.
Because that guy was actually in the army.
Sure.
And when he did that, and
all right, so you've named what, like 7, 8 Islamic quote unquote Islamic terrorism.
Yeah. Do you want to go over to Western Europe now?
Well, how many? But my question was in America. In America?
I still think, because the body count for all of those is higher than all of the mass shootings combined in the past 18 years.
Okay, so body count.
And 9/11 kind of helps because it was 2,000.
Sure.
Innocent lives.
I understand. So, so body count. But even then, I feel like with terrorism and that kind of aspect, you're going to strive for a higher body count. Mass shootings, I think people are mentally ill, just trying to send some kind of message to try and do something, and they're not caring about, I need to kill as many people as possible. They're just killing to kill. Okay. So I think with terrorism, it's like, okay, we need to target and plan a thing that targets the most people, the tactically plan it. Right. Whereas I think mass killing, sure, it can be planned out, but I don't think the goal is to let's wipe out as many people as possible.
Dude in Las Vegas did.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, okay.
Columbine kids did.
Okay.
You seen the documentary on that?
No, I have not. That's what was Bowling for Columbine?
No, that was Michael Moore's. Michael Moore's documentary is not what I'm talking about. There was a different one that was just on. It was a made-for-TV documentary about Columbine.
Okay.
But talked about how these kids planned it, and they were, crazy fucking kids, and just planned it out.
Okay.
They had bombs that didn't go off, thank God, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so I guess let me try and get back to my point is, I think in America, I don't think there's a clear what's something we should be more worried about is the sanity and our health and safety of the American people, or defense, homeland security, all that kind of stuff of, outside influences.
Well, so you're talking about changing two different things. So one, we have
some focus more on.
Well, some will think that it's a gun control issue.
Forget issues.
Well, I'm telling you how to go about fixing it in order to show you how, which one is the bigger problem. So you have a group of people, I think in the millions, of anti-Western Islamic extremists, whether or not they're actually
extremists.
Sure.
Okay.
That are for the death of anybody that doesn't believe what they believe. Okay. Versus a few nut jobs that are mentally ill or just bad. So I think the sheer numbers of those people, the small minority of people in the U.S. versus a pretty large number of people on the other side of the world, and throughout this damage to our country and to other countries. So I think because you have a higher number of people that want to do that, that's the bigger problem. Okay.
All right. Okay. So, and yes, and I know you're going to start bringing up Europe. I do agree. That is I feel like
it's a mess.
Every other week there is something in the news saying either a bus station, subway, train, shooting, bombing, killing, strangling, stabbing. Yes, I do agree that. But unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. That you don't have to fly a plane or I keep saying Islamic extremism. I think we just stick with extremism, just terrorism, extremist terrorism. I think it's a lot easier to do that in Europe, and I'm sure that's definitely a plan for whichever extremist group would plan to do that. I'm just talking in circles now. I mean, so what? We just make people more aware of the situation? Do we censor people online? Do we do that? Do we institute a Chinese policy where we block and filter and figure out what information you're getting and stuff like that?
And that's the line, right? So what did one of our founding fathers say? I forgot who said it. Maybe it was Benjamin Franklin. And said any person that would give up liberty for security will wind up with neither. So the idea behind that quote is, you ask your government to, hey, we're going to give up some of these rights and privileges
Mm-hmm.
for you to come in and keep us safe.
Right. Why? I don't agree with that. Why is it giving up liberties? You know, sure, in this example, why giving out liberties you lose both?
So the idea is that government at the you lose security from the outside force, or you gain security from the outside force that you're worried about, but now you've now you've taken the leash off of this pit bull that is the government that is now encroaching on everything now that you have.
Okay.
And that's where me as a small government leave me the hell alone kind of attitude comes in that not everybody agrees with. That's just that's how I see it. I think the government sucks at pretty much everything they do, except for the military, ironically. And even then, they're not amazing at it. But and so that's the line. So am I for any kind of censorship? Yeah, I think there's some things that shouldn't be said on Cartoon Network, but just like I think there's some things that should be said on HBO.
Right.
But online that's a weird dynamic. We've never had such an open platform of ideas and information in the history of the world. Like in 2018, and there's just more information that keeps coming in. Information is out there so readily available that it's hard to censor that at all. But I think, if you are an Islamic extremist and you have a website that's operable and you're trying to convert people to radical beliefs and ideologies and you're trying to convince people to do mass murder, that is a crime in itself. Right. So you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
So, okay. So then what would you, so I'm just going to come up with two ideas that we could potentially have. Just a flat out censorship, just a flat out, there are places and sites and things, and how that's determined, that'll be up to the government, along with whatever your local representative says and tries to influence within that legislation. Just flat out, hey, you go to www.terrorism.com, it's blocked for sake of argument. Or, you have this free open internet, which I think is kind of what's going on right now. But instead of having the ability to mask your online activity using whatever private browsers and using tunnels, I forget what they're called. What are they called? You go and VPNs, virtual private networks. So getting rid of that, just totally blinking out. But the government is just constantly watching what you're doing. It's just, you literally, as if you go into a store and there's a man, the Tim Allen style home improvement man or whatever, staring over you, you just see his eyes. He's not going to do anything if you're not doing anything bad, but he's still watching you.
I think both of them sound horrifying.
Okay.
It sounds like very 1984ish Big Brother.
But even then, that's.
But if I were to have to choose one or the other, I'd go with the second one.
Okay, yeah. So just still having that,
because at least they're not doing anything.
Sure, unless you do something.
I know the government's watching me. Like when what's his name, Snowden came out with his stuff, like that opened the doors for what the government is actually doing and how much the American people have allowed the government to get away with for so many years. What the Patriot Act did a lot of good things and it did a lot of bad things. It allowed governmental branches to work together on things that, if the Patriot Act had existed a few months before 9/11, it could have been stopped. But it didn't. The Patriot Act does a lot of good things like that, but it also does a lot of bad things, like the government encroaching on the Fourth Amendment when it comes to your cell phones, your laptops, your any wireless connections, your TVs, anything like that. And that's scary. That's scary to me, to have a government, to have a body of people that are just people. They're just you and me. They make mistakes, that have that kind of power is terrifying to me. So what if,
okay, so then, and I don't know if this is this might be what it's like, but what if it was just like a robot? It was just, you have like, kind of like your browsing history. You just have a history of everything that you do online. It just says, okay, from this time to this time, Blake was offline. Oh, and then this time to this time, Blake was playing Xbox. And then from blah, 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 offline activity. And then Blake went on the internet. And then Blake did blah, 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 blah. Not necessarily a person just, watching and whatever, but it's just a recorded history of what you're doing. And then that's just sent to the government. It's just like a little paper?
No.
No? Not even that? You still... Well, I mean, I get it. You're kind of small. I'd be okay with that. That's reasonable.
I don't want the government to be able to track everything that I'm doing constantly. That's not why government exists.
No, I understand.
So
Government exists to prevent mass murder.
I look at government like I look at Steven Crowder had a really good metaphor for this. I look at government like I look at hockey referees. Mm-hmm. Hockey referees only have a few jobs, and it's to ensure the safety of the players. So make sure nobody's breaking any rules. Mm-hmm. They're not there to, be the medical staff. They're not there. They're not there to, to determine who wins or loses. They're just there to make sure that the play keeps going, and that if you break the rule, there you go, you're in the penalty box.
Okay, that's kind of nice. Yeah,
that's what I see the government as.
Yeah, or that's
whereas
like the government
versus soccer referees, where you have such a lock on the game that they can influence based on how much time they give you after the game. They can call time whenever they want. They can give out penalties for no reason. Like it's that's why I don't watch soccer, because it's fucking boring. Like it makes no fucking sense to me.
Okay.
So I look at government like a hockey referee. That's how I see government.
No,
government's job is not to track me. The government's job is to protect me in case somebody tries to hurt me, and make sure that people aren't breaking the rules.
If they need to track you to protect you.
Oh yeah, sure.
Well, I don't. With the digital age now, and just literally, someone could be on a computer with a secure connection and go through a VPN can destroy your world. I mean, wouldn't you want someone, kind of a guardian angel, not necessarily that specific, but a mystic being, a whatever they call it, economics.
Yeah, here's the thing: the people that are smart enough to prevent that aren't working for the government, dude. They're working for Apple. They're working for Google. The people that are perfect at their job, aren't like that army commercial where it's like it shows like the anonymous voice or whatever saying like, we're watching you, we're tracking your every movements if you don't meet our demands. And then you hear a click and you see this woman in a ponytail in her army uniform typing, and she gives a fist bump to her colonel, and it's like, army people are protecting the websites too, blah blah blah, join the army. That's not true. Like that's not.
I never saw that commercial.
Okay, well, that is a thing.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe it was the Navy or whatever. Regardless,
sure. That
the government doesn't have the brightest of the brightest of the brightest people.
But how can you say that so surely, though?
Because
of
the mistakes they've made. So I look at the governing body of the United States with so many dumb people. Like one quote. Like whenever my dad gets political, I'm like, man, you should run for office, just as a joke. And he goes, I'm not dumb enough. That's always his quote.
Sure.
I don't think the government is good at most of what it does. And so because I believe that, I don't think that they have the brightest minds working.
Trying to say that there are the brightest minds working.
There are smart people in the government.
Right, but
I'm acknowledging that.
But do you also realize that not the smartest people are working for private companies?
I agree.
Okay, all right, because I was
like, if we had the best of the best, like we put them through a gauntlet, a test to ensure that these are the brightest minds working, and they were willing to do it for good pay that taxpayer was funding, I'd be cool with that. If what they were,
You're good.
If what they were doing was something that me as an American citizen would be okay with. So if they were online strictly to provide security against against people that are trying to commit murder and mass murder and radicalized and all that stuff. If we had those people, the brightest, and they were.
Well, and
I just don't trust a government enough to do that. I don't trust people enough to do that.
But that applies to both government and private organizations?
Sure.
Okay.
I acknowledge the risk whenever I buy an iPhone. Whenever I update my iOS system.
Sure.
I acknowledge those risks. But I'm not as scared. Coca-Cola is not going to come to or Apple is not going to come to my house with a gun and say, come on into this van. Like the government will. Like the government has the power to do.
Well, I think that's a separate conversation. But, you're giving the information. Okay, so here's my issue. So everyone has your information. whether you like to believe it or not.
Yep, it's
everyone has
already
your
out there.
information. It's out there.
I've deleted all my social media.
But
it doesn't
it's
matter.
been out. So that's the reality. Okay, here's your information. All right, now a lot of people have access to it. You know, if someone really tries hard enough, or however difficult it is, they can gain access to it. They can get your first name, last name, email, maybe your phone number, probably your home address. They can just find that. Okay, so companies like, and I'm going to reference Equifax just because of that whole data breach. Companies like that, they're not constantly monitoring what's going on in your life because that's not profitable for them. They're not going to say, hey, Blake, we're going to make sure that no one's going to steal your information unless you pay us. Right? Whereas with the government, you know, that's their responsibility. Currently, in this situation, I think they've adopted that responsibility of, if you are an individual, your liberties are at stake, you know, your privacy and your security, it's the government is the, if anyone's going to protect that, it's going to be the government. Whether you like it or not, it's going to be them.
Is that my only option?
But without paying. If you
without paying,
if you want to pay some company, some data protection company to,
where are my tax dollars going then?
For construction and infrastructure and paying schools and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Not to that.
I think that's the issue, and I don't want to go super tangent off of this. We can save this for another time, but because security has been issue moving to, because before, you know, and you know, I don't know how realistic this joke can be, but you know, before when someone was going to break into a bank, they had to actually physically break into the vault. You know, crack, whatever, be all sneaky burglar, whatever. You know, traditional 1950s stupid cartoon.
Pinstripe in the bag with the dollar sign on it.
Exactly. But now, someone breaks into a bank, they can do it from the luxury of their home. You know, they've got the resources. So, you know, unless you're going to pay someone, which I don't really want to pay someone because you can't necessarily always afford that protection because the yearly fees or the monthly fees and the whatever and the other costs and other fees associated with it. That's that. If people can afford that, great. That's an option for them. Great. But me and you, Blake, I'm assuming you're not paying for any kind of data protection, are you?
I don't have a lot of data.
Well,
so yeah.
Still, but you're social.
I'm not.
Social security, whatever. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, Joe Blows like us, you know, what happens when we're just walking around the street and then someone goes, hey, I want to steal your information? Well, the only entity that I think is going to be at our side is the government. The government's going to try and come in and say, okay, well, this guy is this string of identity theft and these robbers and blah blah blah. Yeah. They're gonna come in and stop that.
He's doing a crime. He's committing a crime.
Exactly.
So the government has to step in and stop a crime being committed.
But
I'm saying I'm willing to pay. I'm banking more on a private company that I'm paying.
Well, but that's
more than a government.
And I get that. I agree that the private companies, the protection that they can offer you, the constant monitoring, checking your Social Security, make sure that's not being used, blah blah. The extreme that the resources that they have, perfect. That's great. But you know, I would safe to say a large percentage, you know, of where you're at that minimum wage or whatever it is, or the poverty line. Everyone below that poverty line, they're not going to have enough money to spend on, you know, this data protection. And then there's a lot of people, myself included, that I don't think that should be something that you pay for. Is to the security. The reason why we have,
so that's a right now.
I think in this, and that's the thing. And you know, moving to this 21st century, you know, with the faster and faster internet and the faster and faster technology and the more intrusive and the more invasive stuff that we add. You know, I think there should be some type of conversation where we change those liberties, saying, hey, my security, my information, just like someone can't break into my house without the police coming knocking on the door, someone can't break into my computer without the police coming knocking on my door. Unfortunately, that's not as regulated. You know, whatever security group A is not going to come say, oh, you're not paying for our services, so we're going to protect you. They're going to say, oh, well, next time we can protect you if you pay for our services. Whereas with the government, you know, if there needs to be the cyber police, like whatever it is, you know, sure, they're not physically or they're not digitally perusing to each house to house to make sure nothing bad's happening. But if that's something that you can report or some kind of entity, that's something that they can help. And so getting back to the point that I was trying to make is if that means that they have to constantly monitor and watch us and say, hey, Blake, hey, Yuval, if you're going to wherever.com and you're doing this whatever thing, okay, well, we're going to monitor that because, you know, some baddies went to this traffic site. And so we're going to make sure that, you know, whoever's bad people are there are going to get rid of, or we're going to target and try and do whatever. That's my thing. And that's why I'm so, like, whatever, check my wallets. I don't care. Just don't take my stuff, because they're not going to take my stuff, because then I can sue them. That's the reality. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I don't know how cohesive that was, or how
it was cohesive.
Okay. I just feel
I just disagree with you.
And that's fine. And I think we can have a separate conversation 20 years from now when literally we don't carry wallets, we don't carry keys, we don't carry phones. It's all integrated within our head or something.
That's
like
little
that.
things that I was talking about at the beginning, and now we come full circle.
And I'm
little things like that, like keeping track of your wallet, like remembering your keys. That's stuff that makes us human.
That's true.
I think you lose that.
No, and again, I think that's a conversation for another time, just because it is over an hour and I'm calling it. Like, you're saying too much stuff that I hate, so we're gonna censor you. Censorship. All right, but that was the end of the One More Podcast. I appreciate it. I'll write down the stuff, because I always say that we're going to talk about it for a later time, and I don't actually know if we actually do talk about it for a later time.
I don't think we do, usually.
I've had comments about, like, you're talking about this, and then you talk about this, and then you never talk about the original thing ever again. Yeah. So I'm just like, whatever. So anyways, if you made it this far, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I hope you've learned something. We've enlightened you in a different way. I hope you're more informed. Honestly, at this point, I just think information is key. Like,
yeah,
we didn't really talk about it at all, but those who are not informed are susceptible to whatever. They give up their protection, I think, is a safe flatline statement. Whether it is through the government, through private organizations, through terrorism, through whatever, through your future, so your job security, money security. If you're not informed, then you're gonna let everything happen to you, I think. I don't know. I can rephrase it. Come up with a better statement.
You're susceptible to that stuff, but I don't think you lose protection.
I think you do. I think you do, Blake. I think
so. Go
ahead.
So what if somebody just didn't have the resources? So like, does a little fourth grader in a trailer park where mommy and daddy are shit kickers and he's ignorant to the outside world, does he lose protection because of his ignorance?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it's up to, and I'm making this, I'm drawing this conclusion just by now. It's not something that I've viewed before, but it's up to the government to do that. Provide public libraries. This
right.
Kid in a trailer park can try and find some kind of source of information, and school generally nowadays, I don't know the percentage, but generally nowadays, every school, at least in a relatively not super dirt poor area, will have computers. So have access to that. Gain information, and of course it's also up to the parents to educate their child and everything like that. Otherwise they're going to grow up and
the cycle continues.
They're going to fall into the Peruvian prince, or I don't know, whatever the
I don't know what that is. Yeah.
What is it? What is the prince that the Norwegian, what is it, Nigerian prince wanting to
the Nigerian prince that
needs
$1 million from you.
Yeah, but
you'll get 10 million in return.
Whatever BS stuff. Yeah. So, but I think it's all about information. As long as you're informed, and you don't have to be the super smartest guy in the world, but just have a general understanding of, hey, I shouldn't be putting my social security number online, or hey, no one's watching over my shoulder. Because I've seen a lot of people, either like at Target or something. Like when I was working at Target Mobile, a lot of people just like didn't give a crap about their security. They're just like, oh, blah, 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 type, whatever. Whenever, for example, whenever you sign up a new person online, or not online, for a new phone plan, or a person is changing carriers or whatever it is, they have to do a credit check. So, what kind of, do you have to buy the phone outright? Can you go on a payment plan, whatever it is? And people are just like, and yes, I understand that, I'm a official who's not supposed to, you're telling me this information. Legally I'm not allowed to use that information, but you still have the option to enter it yourself. I'll go, whatever, 8244 blah, 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 blah. And okay, well, now I know your information. Plus anyone else in the vicinity, if they were paying attention, they know your information. So, and what I'll do is I'll always ask, hey, can I type it in myself? Hey, can I write it in myself? Hey, blah, 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 instead of having that verbal transfer. So, it's small things like that if people can keep up that, and it doesn't even have to deal with security. We can spread it to understanding different religions, understanding how the world works, having a little bit of information just to and I'm using the quote of The Office. Instead of the verbal minimum, it's the information minimum of just having underwear on. Then the world would be a better place. How better? I don't know. That's for a different time.
I guess so.
I don't know. Anyway, sorry for that tangent. Whatever. It is the end. Now it is officially the end. And hope you guys enjoyed and listened. And thank you, Blake. Of course, I enjoy talking to you always.
Thank you.
However much rage you fill me with when we're talking and discussing. Anyways, that is it. Hope everyone has a good day. And I guess the next time we'll see you is in a couple days on the next podcast. And I may or may not release a new open book, chapter 2. Not sure. Trying to figure out that. But yeah. Peace out, everyone. And that is the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Just letting you know again that this was sponsored by Haven Cottage Event Center, okay? This thing's coming out end of spring in 2018. That's this year, okay? Small, medium, whatever kind of event that you want, bring it here. They can style it. They can change it. They can get it right just for you, all right? Celebrate whatever you want. Have any kind of business meeting, whatever it is. Just literally your heart's desire. Remember, Haven Cottage Event Center. Everything you need to know is in the description down below how to get in contact with them, okay? All right, cool. Peace out.